Thanks for watching. What we're going to do today is learn basically the 5 most common major chords on guitar. And these can be used for classical guitar, for electric guitar, acoustic guitar, for what I'm playing here, which is a gypsy guitar. Doesn't matter what kind of guitar you play. This is really for beginners, and this is to help you understand just 5 of the most popular chords that you'll use to play just about anything. So we're going to talk like C chord, G chord, D, A, and E. And then in another video we'll cover some popular minor chords, and then we'll talk about how to apply these things in other videos to songs that you may know, or just a general chord progression. So we're going to start by just figuring out the chords. So what I'll do is I'll explain each chord, and then I'll give you a left hand close-up and walk you through that so you can see what's going on with the left hand. As far as the right hand goes, all we're going to do is start on the string that I call, for example, string 6, and we're going to push through all the strings after that. So if I say it's a 4-string chord, we're going to put our pick on string 4 and push down through all 4 strings. So you don't have to really worry about the right hand as much as you do the left hand, and I'll give you tips and tricks and hints and that kind of thing as we go. So let's start with the easiest. It's not the first one on the chord chart, it's the second one. It's a G chord. We're going to start with that because we can identify a couple of problems that are going to pop out in other chords and kind of fix those while we're at it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my guitar in tune and let you go ahead and tune as well. And I'm doing this on the video just in case you don't have a tuner or any other way to tune your guitar. You can listen to what I'm doing and adjust your guitar to sound exactly like mine. So that's the only reason I'm leaving this in here. Usually I go ahead and tune up first, but I'm going to let you use this opportunity to tune. If you are already in tune or if you have a digital tuner, skip ahead and you don't have to bear with me through this part. But so the big string, string 6, should sound like this. That's the E string. The next string, string 5, should sound like this. That's the A. The next one, string 4, should sound like this. That's D. Then string 3 should sound like this. That's the G. Now string 2, I'm adjusting that just a little. There it is. I'm doing these videos outside, and the humidity is a little different. So there's your second string. Got that one? Now string 1 is the E string. That's it. So if you don't know this already, the 6 strings in order are, they're actually numbered from the smallest number, which is 1. That's applied to the smallest string, which is down here. We actually call this the top string because it sounds like the highest pitch. So the little string, which is at the bottom, is actually the top string. I know that's confusing, but remember this: little number, little string. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the big string, we're going to do, I'll give you the letters in reverse. So this is E, A, D, G, B, and E. So just a little reminder of what you learned in other videos, because this is all in a different video. So if you are not familiar with this, feel free to watch my beginners section of videos, which will teach you all about this kind of thing. Also, there's a tuning video, so that will help a lot. Again, we're going to do these chords. We're going to just use any guitar, doesn't matter. This isn't like for electric guitar only or acoustic guitar only. It's not for country music or bluegrass or rock. These are just general chords that everybody should know. You'll notice I'm playing a gypsy guitar, but you may see me with a different guitar doing these same chords in a different video. It makes no difference. So whatever your style, feel free to just jump in and figure these out, and then we'll put them to use later. So again, we're starting with the G chord, and there are 2 ways to play the G chord. I'm going to give you what I call the easiest way to move, but the most difficult way to hold. So some people call this the difficult G, but it's just easier to move from this G to a C chord. It's a simple transition to move back and forth. So I'm going to give that to you, and then I'll give you an alternate version. And if you feel like you need to do the alternate version to get started, that is perfectly fine. They're both acceptable G chords, and there are other forms of this G chord. But we're just going to do the very basic G with just a couple of open strings, and it's the most common G chord with just two different methods of applying your left hand fingers, and you get to decide which one's best for you. So let's try this. Start with third finger on the third fret of the biggest string, and that's going to be what we call the root of the chord. So since this is a G chord, that is going to be the note G, and we talked about this low string being open E, and by moving up through F, F sharp, and G, we get to the actual root of the chord. Then on the next string, we're going to play second finger, second fret. And now comes the easy part. Strings 4, 3, and 2 are all open. No fingers at all. And then you take your little finger, and this is where the trouble comes in for most people. You have to apply your little finger to the third fret, which is the same fret that your third finger is on, but it's on the smallest string, string number 1, and then you'll hear this note. So this is what you should be holding. Third finger, third fret, that's string 6. Second finger, second fret on string 5. And those are easy to remember. Same finger number as fret number. Third finger, third fret, second finger, second fret. Followed by 3 open strings. That's strings 4, 3, and 2, all open. Then you have little finger, which is still on fret 3, but on string 1, way up there. So some common problems. The first thing a lot of people do here is they have their thumb too high or too low, or they're not using their thumb. Their thumb's sticking out here somewhere. What you need to do, I'll show you the back of my guitar. Have your thumb slightly centered. It doesn't have to be exactly centered. I say slightly because it can be slightly forward, slightly backwards, but somewhere kind of in the center range of these fingers. This little grouping. So my thumb falls just slightly to the left side of my middle finger. So I'm not right in the center, you know, if you're looking at average distances, but I'm close. I'm just behind my second finger. And I like the thumb to be somewhere around the middle of the neck, but we're all different. So there are people that are going to have it slightly lower, some people slightly higher. What you want to watch out for is not having an over or under extended wrist. That's bad for any kind of guitar playing. So when you play a G chord, your wrist should be relatively straight here. A slight bend is okay. Anything that's a natural bend is fine. It's just if you're holding the G and you're finding that you have to really twist your wrist or force your wrist backwards, you probably are doing something wrong. If you can't figure out what you're doing wrong, just send me a message, add a comment to the video, anything at all. I will fix it. I'll get you to take a picture, or get on like camera or something and show me exactly what's going on, and we'll make this work for you. So the chord should sound like this, one string at a time first. Now I want you to try it that way. If you run through the chord and you hear this noise, that's a common problem. That is a string that is being muted by a finger that's kind of laying down on top of it. And to fix that, you do have to learn to arch your fingers. And a lot of people do this. They apply the finger directly to the string from below. And you can see how I'm kind of coming in here under the string and grabbing it there. And that makes the string sound fine, but the string underneath, it's contacting the finger pad of this finger, and it just won't work. So try this. Lift the finger and go over the top of the string a little bit, and then try to arch the fingers. Make sure that your fingers are round like this when you're holding that chord. So from the side, you'll kind of see it. When we do the left hand close up, this will really be obvious. But you've got to have some space under these fingers, and you've got to have some space in the palm. So let's go through them again, and you test your chord this way. Start with 6, go through each string individually, and everything should ring clear. When that feels like a comfortable position, and all the notes are ringing out, you're ready to move on to another chord. Now, another common problem is to kind of let the fourth finger creep out to the wrong fret, but that will be really obvious. You'll hear this. It's not going to work. So this finger can't stretch out there and you can't twist in. This is actually not a bad position. We like to have our knuckles parallel like this, but on this chord there's a tiny little twist, and then you tuck that little finger in so it is on the 3rd fret, and that's your G chord. The alternate version is a little easier to hold and a little easier to get a handle on it first if you're just starting out. It's just that it's tougher to switch to certain other chords. But we're going to go over that anyway. The frets are going to be exactly the same, but you're going to start the low string with your 2nd finger. So that's going to be 3rd fret, 2nd finger, followed by the 5th string, but you're going to play 1st finger on the 2nd fret. And then this little string, the 1st string on the 3rd fret, is going to be held by your 3rd finger. So there's no difference in the sound of the chord. So if we move from fingers 3, 2, 4 to fingers 2, 1, 3, you're not going to hear a difference at all. It's how it feels to your left hand. So starting out, this may be easier, but in the end, this chord switches better to a C. So you may want to get used to that. Eventually, you'll need to be able to play both of these. We'll use this one for certain things. We also sometimes will double, and we'll use fingers 2 and 1, but we'll have finger 3 on the 2nd string and finger 4 on the 1st string for this sound. It's hard to hear the difference, but instead of having open 2nd string, we'll actually move this to the 3rd fret. Changes that note. It's still a note in the G chord, but it's a little bit of a cleaner sound for, and well, it works for certain things just a little better, but again, that's just opinion. It's all personal. You can use any of these G's interchangeably. They all work for wherever you need that G chord. So let's try that again. G with either 3, 2, 4 or 2, 1, 3. You decide. And when you get the chord down, check all the strings. And now when you get used to that, let's try this. Try just strumming down and tap your foot and try to strum down every time your foot taps. And let's go in groups of 4. So we're going to try it like this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Just try to get used to that feel. 2, 3, 4. And if you're using the alternate G, it'll look like this. 2, 3, 4. And try to get used to that. It'll get you used to holding the chord. You're building calluses on your fingers. You're just getting your fingertips kind of used to holding those strings down. You're also building a little endurance because you're having to use some muscles that you're not really used to using to hold these chords down. Feel free after, maybe 4 measures of 4, that's where we count to 4 different times. Take a break. Take your hand away from the chord and just give it a chance to kind of, get back to its old self there. Let your fingertips kind of, you can rub them out just a little bit if they're a little sore. And it's tough when you're, just getting started, but just be patient with it. Try taking small breaks, and then a good exercise when you feel like you're a little more used to the chord, good exercise is to place the chord and play your 4 strums, and then stop the strings and drop your hand to your knee for a 4 count. 3, 4, and try to grab the chord in time. 4, now drop it for 4 beats. 2, 3, now try to replace. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do that really without keeping rhythm or anything. You can just put your left hand down, put it back up, try to get the chord every time. If you are not sure if you're getting it, you may want to try it this way. You may want to strum, put it down, strum, put it down. Use this for all the chords that we're going to learn in this video, just to kind of help them become familiar. And in time, these things they'll just be second nature. You'll be able to just jump in and play a G, C, back to a D chord, C, back to a G. You won't have to think about them quite so much. So good luck with the G. We're going to move on and try the C chord.